What's good, IE Sports Radio fans and fans of professional wrestling? It's your boy, the SoCal Saint, back at it again with another fresh edition of the best professional wrestling podcast on the internet today. If I do say so myself, we are live streaming live on X, on Facebook, and on YouTube. It is your boy, SoCal Saint, with the IE Wrestling Show. I am the undisputed heavyweight champion of IE Sports Radio, and we got a lot to talk about today, guys. We're going to be going into the controversy of AEW's last pay-per-view. That's going to be the first thing on the docket. That's going to be the first thing we talk about. I'm sure you're going to want to hear my opinions on what AEW did this past weekend at All Out. Did they take it too far, or do you think it was where wrestling should be at this point in time? We're going to preview TNA Victory Road, which comes to you live in just 2 days on September 13th or Friday the 13th for all you spooky fans out there. And we're going to preview WWE Bad Blood as the pay-per-view itself is starting to take shape now, which comes to you live on October 5th in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're going to talk about WWE Week on USA, because for the first time in a very, very long time, probably if ever, I don't think that they've ever had all their shows on one network at one time. And it's only for a short period of time, because starting in October, one of those shows goes to the CW network. But we'll preview WWE Week and talk about what WWE Week has been like so far on USA with Raw and NXT, and the upcoming SmackDown, the first ever 3-hour special for SmackDown, since it is going to be moving to USA. Its very first episode on the USA Network since moving from Fox. Last week, SmackDown had its final episode on the Fox Network, and now they're going to be back on USA Network, the home of WWE, really, when you think about it, because WWE has always been very prominent on the USA Network for many, many years. That was the home of Monday Night Raw for many, many years, until, of course, this coming January when Raw moves to Netflix. But more on that later, guys. Let's see who's in the chat room now joining us live. Taryn Rodriguez, what's good, brother? Host of Set Point and the SoCal Supreme Sports Show. How's it going, sir? Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate it, man. And Danny Mahan in the chat room. Yeet, what's good, man? Yeet. And shout out to, we got a new person in the chat room, Master Mike's Wrestling Paradise. What's going on, man? Welcome. Hopefully you enjoy what we're doing here today. I appreciate you settling down and watching the program. Hopefully I create another fan out of a new listener, hopefully. But first, please follow me on the X and on TikTok at IE Wrestling Show. That's at IE Wrestling Show. You see the banner right there. That is my handle for both of my social media platforms. And you can also follow IE Sports Radio on IE Sports Radio's official X page, official Facebook page, official Instagram page, and official TikTok. They are available on all those social media platforms, as well as multiple podcast networks, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. Did I say that already? Duh. Amazon Music. Oh, wow. I just got corrected. I am such an idiot. Master Mike is one of the new hosts of Beantown Blitz with Massachusetts Mike. I love that. I'm sorry, man. I got to educate myself a little bit better. But thanks, man. Welcome. I appreciate the listens. Shout out to T5 the Great in the chat room. What's good, sir? What is going on? What's good? Yates. Yeah, you see all the social media, all the podcast platforms that IE Sports Radio is available on. Not only that, IE Sports Radio has our very own official website. Go to iesportsradio.com. You can join for free, create an account for free. You can interact with the host of all the IE Sports Radio's great shows. You can also check out all of our library of all of our shows if you're just now becoming a fan of IE Sports Radio and you want to do a little bit of back cataloging and listening to some older shows. Just like mine, if you are a fan of my show and you want to listen to some older shows that I've done, go to iesportsradio.com/the IE Wrestling Show, and you can check out all of our previous episodes. Hey, T5 the Great, yeet. Everybody's yeeting in the chat room today. And also, if you like what we do, if you love what we do, I mean, I don't want to love is a strong word, but if you like what we do, if you are passionate about what we do here at iSports Radio and you want to throw some shekels our way, go to iSportsRadio.com/shop. That's iSportsRadio.com/shop. And you can get some awesome iSports Radio merch. We have hats, we have tank tops, we have women's tees, men's tees, just like this one with the official iSports Radio logo and our official tagline, your direct feed for all that is sports. That's right. And you can get it in if they're available, you can get it in different colors. But I like black because it's slimming, So shout out to Dan. I'm sorry, I got distracted by Danny's comment. He said, I'm eating all over myself, Pat McAfee. Man, I miss Pat on Monday nights. Hopefully his run with ESPN comes to an end sooner rather than later, and we get to see Pat behind the stick again on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully in time for the premiere of Raw on Netflix. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yes, we do need friendship bracelets. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit up the head honcho of Larry B. We got to sell iSports Radio friendship bracelets, guys. That's the new thing. Those seem to be one of the most talked about, one of the most prestigious things in professional wrestling right now, since literally that's the basis of the CM Punk and Drew McIntyre feud, or at least part of it. That became the main focus after a while. But yeah, anyway. Also, please check out our official sponsors of iSports Radio, Planet Jerky. Go to planetjerky.net. It is 100% premium brisket beef jerky. This jerky's on a whole other planet. Ooh, yeah. The Macho Man loves himself some beef jerky. You know that. You got to snap into it. Yeah. It is delicious. Take my word for it. Take the Macho Man Randy Savage's word for it. It is delicious. My favorite flavor is the volcanic jalapeno. It's so good. It's just that right amount of spice with that little bit of sweetness at the end of it. It's very delicious. Go to their official Instagram. I said IG. Go to their official Instagram page, and you can check out at Planet Jerky. Go to their official website at planetjerky.net and order yourself some delicious premium brisket beef jerky. Also, do us another favor and check out our other official sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals. If you need to have that nice little fancy touch on wedding invitations, quinceañera invitations, baby shower, hell, even gender announcements, anything like that, graduation invitations, anything that of the sort that needs that fancy, just that je ne sais quoi touch on it, go to Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You can actually order them directly from the iSports Radio website. Go to iSportsRadio.com/Seal the Deal Wax Seals, and you can check them out. And they also have an official Instagram page as well. But don't take my word for it, guys. Check out these awesome commercials for our sponsors, and we'll be right back with the iSports Radio's premier professional wrestling podcast, the IE Wrestling Show. Stay tuned, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, guys, to the IE Wrestling Show. It's your boy, the SoCal Saint. Shout out to our sponsors, Seal the Deal Wax Seals and PlanetJerky.net. Check them out, guys, if you haven't already. Do yourself a favor, especially the Seal the Deal Wax Seals. I think that's actually a really nice touch on your special events and, things coming up. Hell, I mean, that'll maybe put a nice little touch with the holidays coming up for, like, Christmas parties or for your kids, if they're still writing letters to Santa Claus and they want to add that little special touch to the, great old Saint Nick, give them that Seal the Deal Wax Seal, okay? Anyway, so I told y'all at the beginning of the hour that this is what I wanted to discuss from the top of the hour. The controversy that's been talked about on social media since the weekend. That would be All Out. AEW All Out was this past, I believe it was Saturday, in Chicago, where every year it's been since its inception, since that became one of the premier pay-per-view events for AEW. And wow, I don't know how to approach this, because I've been pretty vocal about it. If you follow me on my X account, I've been pretty vocal about it just from the footage that I've seen, and then people are going back and forth about it. A lot of the AEW diehards and the AEW cultists is how I put it, because they literally are they defend it to the very end, no matter what the hell is going on. They can't take any criticism whatsoever. They always have some sort of obnoxious retort to any sort of criticism that anybody gives AEW, including certified, verified legends in this business. I saw this obnoxious, disgusting response to something that Ricky Morton had said, one half of one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling history, the Rock and Roll Express, And he was, he basically just said, like, no more unprotected chair shots to the head. Like, I don't understand what is so hard about that, because there is a point in the Swerve and Hangman unsanctioned anything goes steel cage match that took place, where Swerve got hit with an unprotected chair shot straight to the head. I mean, and then AEW fans are gonna want to, argue with a legend who knows better. I'm sure these fans that will sit behind their keypads or keyboards or phones or tablets or whatever and want to argue with a legend and try to say, like, you don't know what you're talking about. That chair was gimmicked. You don't know. Why don't you sit down, old timer? Your time is come and gone. Like, where do you get the nerve to talk about a business that the only thing you know about it is that it's on television? You've never been a part of it. You've never been in the ring. To tell a legend that, to try and mansplain to a legend or whatever, or fansplain, let's put it that way. Let's create a new word. To try and fansplain how professional wrestling works to an actual professional wrestler is insulting on so many levels. I have my criticisms, but I'm not going to sit there and fansplain to an actual wrestler, someone who's actually done time in the ring, what I think is best, or what I think is how things are in wrestling. Like, I have no idea. I'm just a passionate fan, and I make commentaries on what I see. That's all I do. I'm just making a commentary on it. I'm not trying to fansplain anything to anyone. These are all my opinions, because opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Sometimes those opinions make no sense whatsoever, but that's your right to have that opinion. And that's my opinion to think it doesn't make any sense. Do you see where I'm going with this? So, for me, did it cross the line? Did AEW All Out cross the line? In my opinion, yeah, it did. And then I got some old-time fans that came at me, that have come at me saying, like, well, what about the Attitude Era? And what about all the shit that happened back in the day, with ECW and things like that? And I'm just like, I'm not arguing that stuff didn't happen, but that was a different time. You know what I mean? That was a different time. We were able to get away with different things at that time, I guess. You know what I mean? And yeah, I have to agree with T5 the Great. The internet has ruined wrestling to a degree. Regular fans think they know everything. Yeah, that's very true. It's very, very true. And I feel like I'm not going to put the blame all on AEW, because the internet has been pretty shitty even before AEW's existence. But it hasn't helped much. It hasn't helped much at all, especially when you got the owner of AEW, Tony Khan, on interview saying, like, I book for the sickos. And he's kind of encouraging this type of behavior from these fans of his, from these fans of the AEW, because he's kind of unhinged himself. I've talked about it many times on the show, how he's kind of just gone off the deep end, replying to people. I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? You're the owner of the company. You shouldn't be tweeting at fans. I mean, at fans, guys, at fans, bots, who knows, whatever they are. But he's actually replying to these comments that he sees online. He's talking shit and trying to start. He's going at it with Eric Bischoff. He's going at it with with Jim Cornette. Massachusetts Mike. Tony Khan doesn't seem to listen to the veterans. Yeah, definitely. I mean, or at least he has his few that he does listen to. You know what I mean? And even then, it's what, Tony Khan would rather be their friend than act like a boss. We know that firsthand because of all the shit that happened with CM Punk last year, before CM Punk was fired from the company, which is probably, like, when you think about it in retrospective, that was the best thing for CM Punk, because it definitely wasn't the best thing for the company, because we all know, if you want to argue that it doesn't have any correlation to where AEW is now to where it was before Punk left, then you're smoking something. You're in another planet, because the correlation is there. It can't be ignored. Punk was a merch seller. Punk was a ticket seller. Punk was their biggest star, bar none. And they had a lot of they still do have a lot of great talent under contract. You got Kenny Omega. Unfortunately, he's still on the injured list because of his diverticulitis. You got Adam Cole. Wait, never mind. He's on the injured list too. You got MJF. He's probably their only homegrown talent that wasn't already a star before becoming a part of the company. You have guys like Bryan Danielson, who's a certified star. He was a star before coming there. Did he bring some star power to their roster? Of course he did. But let's be real. Bryan Danielson, for all his fantastic in-ring ability, was not the merch and ticket seller like Punk was. He wasn't the ratings pusher that Punk was. Because ever since Punk was gone, it's been low rating after low rating after low rating. They have not crossed 1 million views in almost 80 something weeks. Like they're getting very close to the record that WCW set in terms of defeating the WWE at the time, back during the Monday Night Wars, when WWE was losing to WCW for 83 weeks in a row. But they're doing it in reverse, because they're losing. They're not gaining any more viewers. It's like they have their niche audience, and that's who they assess to. You know what I mean? That's who they cater to. Wrestling has always pushed the envelope from era to era. When it comes to spots, we should know. But yeah, I understand that too. I mean, yes, I understand that too. Things change from era to era. It's not going to be your daddy's wrestling. It's not going to be your grandfather's wrestling. You know what I mean? What my dad used to watch may not be his flavor. It may not be my flavor of wrestling. What I watch may not be my father's flavor, and vice versa. You know what I mean? My dad grew up in Mexico. My dad's from Guadalajara. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. I'm not a native, Spanish speaker. My father is, my father's from Mexico. My dad used to go to wrestling shows. My grandfather, God rest his soul, used to take my dad to lucha libre shows and see actual, the big stars of the day in the early 60s, mid to early 60s. My dad would see the El Santos and the Blue Demons, and you know what I mean, like the big names from lucha libre at that time, and that was his thing. My dad still loves that type of wrestling. I still catch my dad watching that on Univision or Telemundo, wherever he can catch it, and I bring my dad to the wrestling shows. Me and my dad went this past February in Dallas. Me and my dad love going to wrestling shows, and my dad always has a great time. Sometimes when we're watching crazy matches, I will see my dad kind of cringe or like be like, that was like too much. You know what I mean? Which is understandable. And I felt myself acting like my father watching some of this crap that happened on Saturday, particularly after first off, I want to talk about what happened during the Jack Perry, Bryan Danielson world title match, which is crazy that I actually say that Jack Perry actually got a world title match, because Jack Perry is the definition of no aura whatsoever. Okay. This kid is auraless. All right. Just like his elite buddies, the Bucks, they are auraless. Okay. They have no aura whatsoever. They are auraless. They're garbage. Anyway, and I agree with that. I agree with that as well. The stuff with Punk was on TK. He needed, yes, exactly. That's exactly what I've been saying. He should have been a boss, and this entire business would be in a totally different landscape right now had Tony Khan acted like a boss and not a friend. And he picked his favorites. You know what I mean? He didn't want to upset the Bucks and the Elite. Particularly the Bucks. You know what I mean? So he chose the Bucks over CM Punk. And I'll never forget that video that always constantly floats around whenever they have a historic low rating of on Collision the week after CM Punk was fired. You had Matt and Nick, with their shit-eating grins running around the ring, like celebrating with their arms up, like doing a victory lap around the ring. Yay! Yay, this arena's half full. Yay, our ratings are at our all-time low. Yeah, but hey, we got rid of Punk, so that's a good thing, right? Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah. What fucking assholes. Anyway, with that said, there was a spot during the Bryan Danielson and Jack Perry match that was, I was just like, really? And the camera was on it. How do you explain that? And he got called out for it. And he's trying to fansplain it to the legend who called him out on it. I'm talking about the referee. I don't even know the guy's name, but the referee in the match, for anybody who saw the match, there was a spot in the match where Danielson cradles Jack Perry for a pin. And the ref counts 1, 2. He stops counting and pushes Jack Perry's shin to instigate a kick out. And then says, oh, there was a kick out. Instead of just hitting instead of just like going for the pin, I guess. You know what I mean? Like suspension of disbelief. We all know the winners and losers are determined. We all know this. If you don't know it, I'm sorry, I just bursted your bubble. But yes, that's the wrestling business. But for it to be blatant like that on camera, how do you explain away that where the referee stops counting? 1, 2. Oh shit, he's not going to kick out. Let me help him out. It was on camera. The camera was focused right on him. There's no way to explain away that. It was literally on his hand, pushing his leg to help Jack Perry kick out because Jack Perry is such a fucking idiot. He couldn't remember, oh, I'm supposed to kick out right now. And then Mark Henry, WWE Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, former World Heavyweight Champion, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, commented on the video of it and said, he basically was like, you knew what he was saying he said so much without saying anything. He said, like, I can't say nothing because then all you guys will come at me, will come after me, basically. The haters will come after me if I say something because he knows. Because he's a veteran. He's a wrestling legend, and he knows that was god-awful. Just indie, just amateur-looking bullshit for a company that wants to keep touting that they're the best wrestling in the world, or what's their tagline? AEW, we're the best wrestle. And I feel like every time I hear that, I just get that SpongeBob meme, where he's cross-eyed with we're the best wrestle, like, come on now. Like what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so like, it's mind boggling. Okay. And then the referee, whoever he is, had the nerve to reply to Mark Henry to fansplain why he did that without actually explaining anything. He said more words than Mark did, and none of it meant anything. He said more without saying anything. You know what I mean? He didn't say anything. Wow. Okay. So that was the first insulting thing from that match. The next was the thing that happened after the match where they decided it would be a good idea to, I know he wasn't really being suffocated, but did it really necessarily need to happen where let's put a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head and pretend to suffocate him in the middle of the ring? Was that necessary? Couldn't you have got your point across with just a simple beatdown? Why did that have to be a part of the beatdown? I don't get it. And AEW doesn't have any of those don't try this at home ads, you know what I mean, that WWE does, like to try and get fans not to replicate what they see. These are professionals. Maybe they should start, especially after this pay-per-view, because God knows Tony Khan would probably shit bricks if they start getting hit with lawsuits from parents because, so my kid was watching your pay-per-view the other day and they thought it'd be a good idea to put a plastic bag over their little sister's head, over their little brother's head. God forbid. You know what I mean? Or now let's get to the nitty gritty. Swerve and Hangman that garbage mud show like match that we just saw, that was like, I don't know who that audience was for. You know what I mean? I don't know what that match was for. And then Swerve tried to explain it away with unsanctioned. What did you think? Like, I get it. But who approved the use of a syringe? Hangman, God, no, I don't know how they did the spot, whatever. However it was gimmicked, whatever. I don't care. There's still the visual of a syringe literally hanging out of the mouth of Swerve Strickland. And then they're wrestling with I'm sure it was gimmicked. Hopefully it was gimmicked. It'd be really fucking stupid for them to use an actual cinder block in the match, but you got them doing spots on a cinder block. And then on top of everything else, Swerve takes an unprotected chair shot to the top of the dome. And fans want to be like, it's gimmicked. Oh, really? Do you know that? You gimmicked it yourself? You were there when they gimmicked the chair? You were there when they gimmicked it? You guys know this? Tony Khan let you guys come to ringside, let you feel the chair, let you be like, you feel that, guys? It's gimmicked, guys. It's gimmicked. I don't know. You can have your opinion all you want, guys out there listening to my little spiel, my rant I'm having right now. For me, I didn't care for it. There's a time and a place for things like that. There is an audience for those type of matches, for those type of ridiculous spots that have no place in professional wrestling. That was garbage to me. If you want to see stuff like that, they have companies like that cater to fans that watch that stuff. That, you know, that would fall. I would keep that under deathmatch wrestling. That's like CCW, GCW. They're not on a nationally televised program. They're not on a national network. They're not on two national networks. Okay, they're not on TBS and TNT because Lord knows there would be no way for them to have sponsors. No network would carry them doing stuff like that. So I don't know why Tony Khan, who considers himself or considers his company where the best ritual, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, shout out to Ralph. Yeet. I'm glad you made it, brother. Ralph Khalees, the host of the Yinzer Report. Sorry. But, to get back on track, if you're trying to be a nationally recognized, internationally recognized wrestling company to compete with the top dog, the heavyweight champion of professional wrestling, the WWE, because they are the end-all, be-all, no matter what, because they're still surviving, they're still here. They've made it through so many different eras. They're not going anywhere, especially now that they are a part of a conglomerate. Now they're aligned with the UFC. There's no end in sight. Okay, let's just be real. And you're trying to be the first real competition to them since the WCW days. And what you're doing is just catering to a niche audience they will keep coming back, but you're not going to gain any viewers. WWE, I saw something that was so smart. It was a tweet. I forgot who tweeted it. I should have saved it so I could read it here on the show. But basically what it said was, to sum it up, was WWE has done things to try and cater to AEW's audience, to try and get some of their viewers to come over to their side. They've done certain matches. They've had certain feuds. They've had certain promos. They've done these little things that would cater to that niche audience, while at the same time keeping their somewhat PG aura. So the kids are still fans. You're bringing in new fans that way. The adults are still fans. So WWE is trying to be a well-rounded company, trying to cater to all viewers of all types. And AEW just continues to cater to the audience that they have already accumulated. They're not trying to grow their audience. If you look at their television numbers, that would say a lot. That confirms that, because every week they're just bouncing between 700 or just at 800,000 to 600,000, in between the 600 to 800,000 range for Dynamite, and they're hitting record lows with Rampage and Collision. Collision just hit a record low this past Friday, going up against SmackDown the last episode of SmackDown on Fox, with hitting 157,000 viewers. That's it. And when Punk was still there a year ago, their numbers were strong for a debut show, especially on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? Like, that was, I can't remember what their first couple of numbers were, but they were definitely higher than 157,000. That's all I'm saying. There is a time and a place for these type of things. I just don't necessarily need to see someone being stabbed with a syringe in the mouth or have a plastic bag put over their face to feign suffocation or asphyxiation on a national wrestling program, on a nationally televised wrestling program. And on the other side of the coin, I don't think it's serious enough to like want to, make a petition to get their programming taken off of television, because I saw some other WWE diehard fans doing that on the other side of the coin, which I feel is also just as ridiculous. You know what I mean? I don't think anything's going to come of it. How many times have you seen people sharing petitions and whatnot? Has anything ever actually really come from that? I mean, honestly. I mean, I probably signed a petition to keep Henry Cavill as Superman whenever he was fired from the DCU. So is he still Superman? No. So my signature was worth nothing because that petition did nothing. So, I mean, that might be a stretch of a comparison, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Like I said, when it comes down to it, did I think I crossed the line? Yeah. For the type of wrestling company AEW is pretending to be, because they're pretending to be a universally recognized professional wrestling company in the vein of the WWE. They started out trying to be the alternative, and in some ways they still are, but you're on a national platform. Hell, they're on an international platform. You're not just some startup. Yes, you've only been around for 5 years, but you came in hot, and now you're colder than an ice. I think we need to take a quick little break. Let's hear for some of our other shows, but that's what I have to say on that. That's my final opinion on the All Out controversy from this past weekend. If you agree with me, that's cool. If you don't, that's also cool. I'm not gonna cancel you. I'm not gonna, fucking wish you should die or something like that. I'm not one of those toxic people on the internet. I'm not gonna argue with you either. So I mean, like, that's cool. You have your opinion, I have mine. That's all good. But yeah, we'll be right back. Let's hear from some of our other shows, and we'll be right back with the IE Wrestling Show.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS. The SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph DeLeese, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold and have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the User Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
What's good, guys? Welcome back to the IE Sports Radio's premier professional wrestling podcast, the IE Wrestling Show. You just heard from the SoCal Supreme Sports Show with Taryn Rodriguez and the Yinzer Report with my bro, Ralph Calise. Yeet! What is this here in the chat room now? T5 the Great. I'm going to start a petition to get us all beef jerky care package from Planet Jerky. I'm down with that. I'll sign that in a heartbeat. So, we got some wrestling action to talk about. Let's talk about this. The controversy's out the way. Let's have some fun now. TNA Victory Road is coming to you live this coming Friday the 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th. That's right. It's coming to you live in San Antonio, Texas from the Boeing Center at Techport. It is going to be airing live on TNA Plus if you don't subscribe to TNA Plus. It's actually, they have different levels of subscriptions. They have like annual payments that you can do like once a year, and then they have the monthly tiers. I'm thinking about subscribing because I would love to see some of that old school TNA library stuff, from back in the day when I first got into TNA, in the early to mid 2000s when Kurt Angle was running around as Perk Angle and, and going around with Sting and the Main Event Mafia, and then you had LAX in their prime. If for y'all that remember the original LAX, which was Homicide and Hernandez with K-Dog, Conan in their corner. So, and a pre-WWE, pre-New Japan Pro Wrestling, AJ Styles, of course, doing his thing, especially with Samoa Joe in there. Yeah, they had a lot of great old school TNA stuff. I mean, TNA was lit back in the day for sure. And TNA is doing some great things right now. So I'm really proud of the progress that they've made in the last, this last year alone, especially with their partnership with the WWE and NXT in particular has really done a lot for wrestling as a whole, I will say, because TNA has had some record sellouts that they haven't had in many, many years. I'm sure they're gaining subscribers for their streaming service. And hopefully this will, in turn, just help the business grow in general. You know what I mean? This is a good thing. So the card is looking pretty strong for TNA Victory Road. Let's go with the first match on the card is going to be the TNA X Division Championship. Zachary Wentz of the Rascals will defend his TNA X Division Championship against the former champion, the man he took the title from in the Ultimate X match at the last pay-per-view at TNA Emergence, Speedball Mike Bailey. So we got a babyface versus babyface match going on at the pay-per-view. High-flying action. It should be probably a standout match. I would be very, very, very surprised that this match is not the match of the night. I would not be surprised. Is what I meant to say. I would not be surprised if this is not the match of the night. Yeah, I agree. The great TNA was popping. The X Division was lit. Yeah, the X Division was fire. They were, and I would say the X Division is still fire. If you haven't caught up on TNA, man, do yourself a favor and check out some of the last few months of their TV and some of their pay-per-view matches, because the X Division has been on fire this year for certain. In particular, you should check out the match where Speedball Mike Bailey defeated Mustafa Ali for the X Division Championship. I believe that was at Slammiversary this year. That was a highlight. That was definitely a match. Definitely match of the night for me anyway, from that pay-per-view. That was a really great match. You should check it out if you haven't seen that. The tag team match for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles. If Spitfire loses this match, they must disband as a team. It will be the Militia. Militia? Am I saying that right? Yeah, Militia. Okay, that's such a weird tag name. Alicia Edwards and Masha Slamovich defend the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team titles against the tag team known as Spitfire, which is Danny Luna and Jody Threat. So big implications here. If Jody Threat and Luna win the tag team titles, they are the tag team champions. But if they lose, they can no longer team together as a team. So, man, that's a toss-up. They're putting it all on the line to win those Knockouts tag team titles. TNA World Tag Team Championship match. It's a rematch from Slammiversary for the tag team titles. ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay defend the TNA World Tag Team titles against the former champions, The System, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers, with Alicia Edwards in the corner of her husband and System partner Brian Myers. This will definitely be a highlight tag team match for sure, as their tag team match from Slammiversary was a highlight as well. So that's a toss-up. I know I just said that was probably the match of the night, the X Division match at Slammiversary. The tag team title match from that same pay-per-view is definitely up there as well. So you should check that one out as well if you haven't seen it. But this is probably going to be a very strong tag team match. I would like to see ABC continue reigning as the TNA World Tag Team Champions, because I feel it's been a very short reign, so I don't want to see them lose the tag team titles anytime soon. So I'm rooting for ABC in that match for sure. Big match here. This is definitely stemming from the heel turn that we saw in the main event of Slammiversary when it was the 6-man World Heavyweight Championship elimination match that both of these men were involved in. The turn came from the two men in this match, Joe Hendry versus Josh Alexander. Joe Hendry was hit with a low blow and eliminated in this match by Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander has been on a tear since losing in that World Championship match. And then he came up short at Emergence in the Iron Man match for the world title against Nick Nemeth. So now he's set his sights on Joe Hendry, who Joe Hendry has probably been the biggest breakout star for TNA this year. He just main evented NXT No Mercy against All Ego Ethan Page in a tremendous NXT Championship match. So now TNA would be smart to capitalize on the momentum that Joe Hendry has grown over the last few months, and hopefully we get a victory for Joe Hendry at this pay-per-view. Of course, I believe in Joe Hendry. Who doesn't believe in Joe Hendry? Next match on the card. These are the two main event matches for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Jordan Grace defends the TNA Knockouts World Championship against, this is just announced because of what happened at NXT yesterday. That's right. We believe T5 the Great. Oh, and I didn't mean to ignore that last comment. Yes, the X Division is still fire. Yeah, man, Speedball is dope. For anybody that's sleeping on Speedball Mike Bailey, you guys are doing a disservice if you love high flying action, that type of fast-paced professional wrestling style. Speedball is a underrated talent. And, man, Josh Alexander. Oh, man, I do remember that match. Yeah, Alexander and TJP. That was dope. Josh Alexander is I feel like WWE should definitely look into picking him up when his contract ends, because I feel like he would be a strong talent that they could definitely do a lot of business with. I mean, I feel like they've been looking for that Kurt Angle type. I feel like they have it in Chad Gable finally. They've been trying to find a Kurt Angle type since he left the company in 2006. And Chad Gable is definitely the closest thing they've come to it. But, I mean, Josh Alexander, I would say, is just right there with him. You know what I mean? I feel like Josh Alexander could be that guy. He's just, man, he's vicious in the ring. He reminds me a lot of Perk Angle from his TNA days. Anyway, so this past I'm gonna kind of bounce around here. So this past Tuesday on NXT, Wendy Chu interrupted the open challenge for the TNA Knockouts World Championship that took place last night, when it was Sol Ruka challenging Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts World title. It was Rosemary from TNA and Wendy Chu from NXT interrupting the match, taking out Sol Ruka and then choking out Jordan Grace. It has been made official for this pay-per-view this coming Friday at TNA Victory Road. Wendy Chu from NXT will challenge Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. And in the main event for the TNA World Championship, Nick Nemeth will defend the TNA World Championship against the man that technically did not suffer the pinfall to lose his TNA World Championship in that elimination match at Slammiversary. The former champion, Moose. Moose is trying to regain the title. He feels he did not ever lose. Nick Nemeth has been on a tear as the champion. It's great to see Nick Nemeth getting his recognition now, which I feel like he should have gotten many years ago when he was plying his trade in WWE as Dolph Ziggler, because he was always a spot-on talent, always had solid matches. He was always a solid talent. He still is a solid talent, and he is the representative of TNA as their world champion. Will he be able to topple Moose on Friday? You'll just have to tune in and see. Like I said, it's streaming live on the TNA Plus app. I believe you can order it through different pay-per-view providers as well. And that'll be live this coming Friday in San Antonio, Texas, TNA Victory Road. It's a solid card. I can't wait to see it. It's definitely going to be a solid card. So let's get into some WWE talk with WWE's Week on USA. That's right, WWE Week on USA started this past Monday with Monday Night Raw. The first opening match was commercial-free, and WWE definitely had to go balls to the wall because NFL is back. Monday Night Football was on at the same time, so they had to keep their viewers strong, and I hopefully they did it well. I don't know what the numbers for Raw were. If I had, I would have pulled them out and recited them here for y'all. But what a strong opening match they had with that commercial-free street fight between the Wyatt Six and American Made. It was American Made, Chad Gable, the Creed brothers, and Ivy Nile against Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross of the Wyatt Six. You had Uncle Howdy out there in his rocking chair watching on as the action was going on around him. Very solid match. I was definitely enthralled in this match. I thought the crowd was very alive, very ruckus in Calgary. It was awesome to see that. That crowd was all in on this match, and they put on a solid match. The Wyatt Six getting a big victory. Hopefully this puts an end to the feud between American Made and the Wyatt Six, because I don't know where they can go from there. Hopefully that's it. That was the period. That was the stamp on this feud. And if it was, then damn, what a great way to end it with that fantastic street fight on Raw. It was great to see the Wyatt Six get a big victory. The Wyatt Six is over. For people that were saying this was going to be a wash or this was going to be a failure or whatever criticisms that they were, spouting online, I feel like the Wyatt Six has done more than enough and then some to prove all of those naysayers wrong, because they have been highly entertaining since returning to the company, especially Bo, the brother of the late, great Bray Wyatt. He's been fantastic in his role. Those promos that they've been showing, those VHS tapes that they've been showing, like it's just been all. I feel like it's been handled just perfectly, in my opinion. That creative for that has been fantastic. We saw the return of Big Bronson Reed, who was out. He was actually eliminated from his chance of becoming the Intercontinental Champion #1 contender when he had COVID. Danny Mahant says, I want them to go after the Judgment Day. Oh, that would be awesome to see that, to see the Wyatt Six go after the Judgment Day. Yes, that would be really fun to see, especially Dom would be funny as hell. Yes, Dom would be funny as hell, acting like a scared little kid running away from the Wyatt Six. That would be awesome. I hope someone from WWE Creative has that idea. I would love to see the Wyatt Six go after the Judgment Day next. That would be great to see. Like I said, sorry, I got sidetracked there. Big Bronson Reed returned after suffering an unfortunate COVID diagnosis that took him out of the match from the previous week. He returned during the main event when it was the fatal four-way match to determine the #1 contender to the Intercontinental Champion. It was Braun Strowman, Pete Dunne, Ilya Dragunov, and main event, Jey Uso. Yeet, yeet, yeet. And damn, all four of these men cooked. This match was awesome. The crowd was on their feet from start to finish. The crowd was hot throughout this whole match. Like, oh my God, some of the spots in this match were sick, especially between Dragunov and Dunne. They were not pulling any punches. They were really giving it to each other with their forearms and their chops. Yes, I agree. T5 did great. They handled the White Six the right way, especially in ring. That was definitely my biggest concern too. I will agree with you there. That was definitely my biggest concern on top of that as well. Yeet, Danny. That's right. Anyway, but I didn't know who to pull for in this match. But when it looked like Braun was going to get the upper hand on his opponents, that's when Big Bronson Reed showed up and hit a tsunami. That tsunami splash on the already broken ribs of Braun Strowman through the announce table. This is going to be an awesome feud. I'm going to try and do my best Wade Barrett impersonation. You know, it's going to be two big men, two big meaty men slopping meat. These two big meaty men slapping meat. We're going to get that Braun Strowman versus Big Bronson Reed match at some point, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Just two big meaty men slapping meat. No Diddy. Anyway, but the main event is who won this match. The main event won the main event, and that's who had to win this match, guys. Jey Uso is the number one contender to the Intercontinental Championship and will challenge Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. Will Jey Uso win the Intercontinental title? That remains to be seen. I highly doubt it because, this is my theory, I think he's going... Danny. No, Danny. Hey, man. We're going to get a Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker match. I believe it's going to take place at Bad Blood. Hopefully. That's what I assume. It will take place at Bad Blood. There should be some sort of bloodline match at the same pay-per-view. And I feel there's going to be some sort of reaction, some sort of interaction between the two. And they're going to start planting more seeds for the main event of Survivor Series. I know I keep harping on this because I just, in my brain, in my heart, this is where it's going. The new bloodline is going to cost Jey the Intercontinental title. And that right there is going to be one of the reasons he's going to reconcile with his brother, reconcile with his cousin, and he's going to try and get Sammy to come back to the fold. And we're going to get the main event for Survivor Series in Vancouver. War Games. Let me do my wheel and regal. War Games! The OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0. That's just my opinion, but I feel like Jey being in line for this prestigious title, I feel like that's what's going to happen, that they're going to cost him the title, and that's going to lead to him, being like, I thought I was out of this, like, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. You know what I mean? Like, he thought he was done with this bloodline bullshit whenever he left SmackDown for Raw, but not when your little brother is pretending to be the tribal chief over on SmackDown now. So maybe it's not as over as we thought it was. But that's just my opinion. That's what I think. Speaking of the bloodline, they showed up minus Solo Sikoa. It was Jacob Fatu and the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, showed up interrupting the NXT Tag Team title match on NXT last night when they took out Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom, the Tag Team Champions, and the Street Profits, who replaced the Rascals, Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz, who were supposed to be challenging for the tag team titles after their win the previous week. But apparently that was because Wes Lee took out Trey Miguel and challenged Zachary Wentz to a street fight, a Chicago street fight, for the premiere episode of NXT on the CW in October. So that feud is not over yet, and Zachary Wentz on X has already accepted that challenge. But yeah, the Bloodline made their presence felt on NXT last night, taking out the NXT Tag Champions and the Street Profits all in one fell swoop. Another thing that seems a little fishy there too, Ava, the NXT general manager, for those who are not in the know, Ava is the daughter of the High Chief, the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's his daughter. And she tweeted out after the fact that the Bloodline showed up. She said, if you guys wanted to show up, all you had to do was just call, which makes me wonder, it makes me wonder whose allegiance is The Rock's with. Because, Rock was on the side of Roman at WrestleMania. And then all this solo stuff started happening after Roman lost the title to Cody. Maybe Rock is the one that's pulling the strings leading up to this big WrestleMania match that I think we're finally going to get. Roman and Rock. Just another layer in that onion, guys. Just another layer in that creative onion. But yeah, it doesn't end there, guys. Oh, T5 to Gray says, I feel that either that or they cost Jay and Sam. Yeah, that too. That's what I was thinking too. I feel like they might set them up for a tag title match and then they lose that as well. So who knows? But I feel like we're eventually going to get. I feel like we're going to get these matches for WrestleMania breaking off of that Survivor Series match, which I don't want Jacob Fatu left in the cold. So maybe we'll get like a 6-man tag. Oh no, then that leaves out somebody else too. Damn. So it's got to be Rock and Roman at some point at Mania for sure. Then I would like to see almost a dream match for me anyway. I would like to see the Guerrillas of Destiny face the Usos at WrestleMania. Does the tag team titles have to be on the line? Not necessarily, but I would like to see the Usos reunite at Mania to take on the Guerrillas of Destiny. So brothers versus brothers. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa taking on Jimmy and Jey Uso. And then Sammy, I feel, has to be somewhere in there. Maybe Sammy goes after Jacob, or or maybe Sammy and KO reunite and they go after Solo and Jacob in a tag team match. That would be pretty cool to see too. So who knows? So many branches can be tethered off of this Survivor Series match depending on how it goes. And WWE Week is not over because this coming Friday on SmackDown, it is the premiere of SmackDown on USA. And now, so I don't know if it's just a one-night thing or this is for now. This is the new time slot now. But SmackDown is going to be 3 hours this coming Friday on the premiere for USA. The main event, steel cage match for the undisputed WWE Championship. It's going to be the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defending the WWE Championship against the pseudo-tribal chief, if you recognize him as the tribal chief, I don't, Solo Sikoa, inside of a steel cage for the main event of the premiere episode of SmackDown on USA. And I feel like we're going to get the return of the OTC, the real tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, coming back on this show because Reigns has been gone for quite a while, selling the beatdown that he took from the Bloodline the last time he was on SmackDown. So maybe we'll see an appearance. I feel like it's necessary to have the tribal chief show up on the premiere episode of SmackDown on their new network. It would kind of be a disappointment if he didn't show up during the premiere episode of SmackDown on USA. Another thing that was also announced during Monday Night Raw was that Raw from October 6th or October 5th. Starting in October. I can't remember when. The first Monday of October and until the end of the year, until they premiere on Netflix, Raw will now be decreasing in time. It's going to be, for the first time since God knows when, I can't even remember the last time this was a 2-hour program, Raw will no longer be 3 hours. Raw will be a 2-hour program starting in October till the end of the year on USA. Maybe that was the agreement that WWE had to come to because their deal with USA was coming up and they had to renew it for a short-term deal until their Netflix deal takes place. So maybe in the negotiations, this was the compromise they had to make with the USA Network executives that like, hey, you guys can stay on till the end of the year, but we're going to need that extra hour back. So now Raw's going back to 2 hours starting in October. So for me, I think that's great because I feel like sometimes 3-hour programs can be a little tasking. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're filled with a lot of filler that's not necessarily super entertaining. But Raw's been very great in the last few months. It really has. Like, there hasn't really been a moment where I'm just like, oh, fuck, I need to turn off the TV. But, I mean, this will definitely make it more of an old school feel in terms of writing for the show and trying to get everything on the program in a condensed amount of time. So starting in October, Raw is going to 2 hours till the end of the year until their Netflix deal starts. Hey, shout out to Marcus Losgreat, the host of the Gloves Off boxing show here on iSports Radio. He's in the chat room. Salute to you, sir. What's up? What's good? What's another thing I want to talk to you guys about with WWE Week? Oh, I do want to give a shout out to WWE for their really touching tribute to the two brothers that the NHL players that passed away in that tragic accident where they were hit by a intoxicated driver while they were riding I think they were riding bicycles, right? Yeah, that's what they were doing. Yeah, they were riding bicycles. NHL player Johnny Gaudreau, I hope I said his name right, Johnny Gaudreau, and his younger brother, I believe his name was Matthew Gaudreau, only 31 and 29. God rest their souls, man. Rest in peace to the brothers. And Johnny Gaudreau was a big star for the Calgary Hitmen, or the Calgary Flames, I think they were known as, like, if I'm saying that right. The Calgary Flames, I think, is correct. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat room. But they were in Calgary this past Monday, and they did a nice little tribute to the brothers, which I thought was very classy and very well respected on WWE's part. Even Sami Zayn came out wearing a Gaudreau jersey, which the crowd just ate up, of course. And you saw a lot of Gaudreau jerseys in the crowd that night too, as well. And big pop for Sammy whenever he came out to save the legend Bret the Hitman Hart. That's right. I almost forgot to mention that the Hitman was on Raw this past Monday Night on Raw in his home country, in his home city of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. And he had an interaction with the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther, which is furthering along this feud between Gunther and Sammy. So hopefully at Bad Blood, we get announced that it will be Sammy and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. But yeah, that was really cool to see on WWE's part, paying tribute to the fallen NHL player and his younger brother. So rest in peace to the Gaudreau brothers, and prayers and condolences to their widows and their families that have been left behind, for sure. We're going to take another quick little break, and we'll be right back with the final parts of our show. We're going to talk about the current card that is starting to take shape for WWE Bad Blood in Atlanta, Georgia on October 5th. And yeah, so stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back in just a moment.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Losgreat, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome to the 305, aka the Magic City, and this is Magic City Scoreboard. I'm your host, JB, and right here we're going to talk anything Miami. Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, Miami Hurricanes, Marlins, Panthers, Inter Miami, and even high school football. So join me once a week right here on Magic City Scoreboard on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed to all that is sports.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the IE Wrestling Show. That was you just heard from Gloves Off with Marcus Losgreat and the Magic City Scoreboard with JB. Thank you guys for that. Tune into their shows, guys. And we are back. Let's get into Bad Blood. Bad Blood is starting to take shape. It's so cool that WWE is bringing back one of their older Ruthless Aggression / Attitude Era pay-per-view events, Bad Blood. Bad Blood, for those, quick history lesson for those who recall, the very first event took place in the fall of 1997 in October, of course, and that was the site for the very first Hell in a Cell match to ever take place in the WWE, which also set the tone for the debut of The Undertaker's brother, Kane. The Big Red Machine made his debut during that match when it was The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels in the main event in the Hell in a Cell match. Bad Blood kind of took a back seat until it came back during the Ruthless Aggression era, during the brand split. It became a Raw-only pay-per-view event, and we saw many great and many not, and some not so great Hell in a Cell matches that took place on that revamped Bad Blood, like, for instance, Kevin Nash and Triple H. That was probably their best match they ever had. It definitely wasn't a highlight in terms of Hell in a Cell matches, but Kevin Nash and Triple H had a Hell in a Cell match at Bad Blood in 2003 for the World Heavyweight Championship, where Mick Foley was the special guest referee. The following year, you had Triple H and Shawn Michaels inside of Hell in a Cell. And then the year after that, in 2005, you had, I think that was the final Bad Blood, because I don't remember there being one in 2006. It was Batista and Triple H, and that was the exclamation point, the stamp on their feud at the time for the World Heavyweight Championship, after they already had two previously great matches, the one at WrestleMania 21, and then right after that at Backlash, and also inside of a Hell in a Cell. So this revamp of Bad Blood is really cool to see. I believe the show is either already sold out or it's nearing a sellout. Last time I checked on the tickets, I think there was only like 560 something tickets left, and it's about a 11 to 12,000 seat arena. It is going to be live from the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. This will serve as the 27-year anniversary of the very first event and the very first Hell in a Cell match. So WWE is going to be definitely celebrating that with the pay-per-view, especially with the matches that have already been announced. So far announced as of this past Monday night on Raw, Liv Morgan will defend the Women's World Championship against mommy herself, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley will challenge Liv Morgan in a rematch from SummerSlam in an attempt to regain the Women's World title that she never lost, that she had to relinquish due to injury that was caused by Liv Morgan. And in Liv Morgan's corner, of course, she will have her daddy Dom, Dominic Mysterio, in her corner. I don't know if Rhea will have, Jay in her corner, or Damian will show up in her corner, but Rhea, she can hold her own. I'm not scared for Rhea, thinking that she can't handle Dom and Liv all by herself, because I know damn well she can. So I'm pulling for Rhea, hopefully to regain the Women's World Championship from Liv at Bad Blood. And speaking of Bad Blood, this past Monday night on Raw, these two had a promo exchange, which was fantastic. I thought it needed to be said. If anybody didn't see it, you should go check it out. The promo exchange between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Finn setting the record straight. I thought Finn was fantastic. And there's a lot of people like to say Finn's not a great talker, and I care to disagree. If he's given the mic, if he's given the opportunity, Finn can do business on the mic, and he did this past Monday night on Raw. When he basically was, he's speaking truth. It was kind of hard to disagree with everything that Finn was saying. He's like, you turned Finn Balor into a sidekick. I'm no one's sidekick. You know what I mean? I'm not your sidekick. I'm no one's sidekick. And I was like, right? Yeah, I agree. You're no one's sidekick, Finn. You never have been. You are the man that created Bullet Club. Finn, people forget that the originator, the original leader of Bullet Club is Finn Balor. So Finn has never been anyone's sidekick, nor did he ever need to be. So, and he was talking truth. He was laying facts on Damian Priest, saying, like, you pushed me into that role. I was never your sidekick. I never wanted to be your sidekick, but you made me that. I should be World Heavyweight Champion, and every time I attempted to win the title, you were looming over me. You were right there behind my back with that stupid briefcase. You never, ever helped me win the world title. I should have been world champion, but because of you and that stupid briefcase, I have never been World Heavyweight Champion, and then you go ahead and win the world title. Like, it was just a matter of time that we would see this implosion of the Judgment Day, and then the beatdown came. Rhea and Damian took an ass whooping on Monday night. It definitely needed to happen. I felt like it was much needed that Judgment Day needed to get their heat back, and they definitely did, especially with that promo, that beatdown, and then on top of it, the icing on the cake, Finn Balor defeating Rey Mysterio clean, one-on-one with no outside interference, and then just putting that exclamation point on the beatdown after the match. Finn Balor looking hella strong going into this match. It will be Finn Balor versus Damian Priest one-on-one at Bad Blood. I'm looking forward to this match for sure. This should be definitely a highlight of the pay-per-view. But then this. I already told you all about this. I revealed it a couple weeks back, and the rumor is in fact true. After Drew McIntyre came out in Calgary, Adam Pearce came out and said, I'm sick of this. I can't do this anymore. You and Punk have to end this. This has to be done, and it's going to be done. I'm sick of both of you. It's going to happen on pay-per-view on October 5th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, at Bad Blood, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. Let me pull out my best Voldemort impression, or He Who Should Not Be Named, whatever. Hell in a Cell. That's right, Hell in a Cell. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, the rubber match. CM Punk has won one match against Drew in that strap match. Drew McIntyre defeated CM Punk at SummerSlam. The rubber match, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre 3. This is definitely going to be the main event of the pay-per-view. If it's not, I would be shocked. This has to be the final match of the pay-per-view. It's the final match of their feud. It just has to be Hell in a Cell match, Punk versus McIntyre. Hell yeah. I'm all in, guys. I'm all ready for this. This is going to be a hell of a show. That's going to be a hell of a match because their first two matches have been fucking solid. So I cannot wait to see Punk and McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell. Yeah, you would think they would do that too. Shout out to Danny with saying, I hope they make Rhea and Liv Hell in a Cell. Yeah, that would, it makes sense to do that too. I feel like that definitely, their feud definitely, I would say, warrants it. But maybe Triple H is of the fact that he doesn't want to oversaturate the special match of Hell in a Cell, which is very smart because Vince, of course, would, he ended up doing an entire pay-per-view surrounded by it, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, and there would be like multiple Hell in a Cell matches on that same pay-per-view, and I feel like that took away from the specialness of it. You know what I mean? Because not any match should just be thrown inside the Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell should always be the cap off, the end all be all, the final note, the period of a feud. It should never be just a thrown away match or whatever. You know what I mean? You definitely don't want to start a feud inside Hell in a Cell. A feud should always end inside that. So I think it's smart on Triple H's part to just make it just Punk and McIntyre the only Hell in a Cell match on the card. But I mean, who knows? There's still a couple weeks before the pay-per-view is, solidified. All the matches haven't been announced yet, so we will see. So who knows? But in my opinion, I feel like it should just be Punk and McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I'm hoping it's the regular steel cage one, the regular silver steel, not that stupid red one. I hate that. Ugh, I can't stand. I don't know what Vince was thinking that was a good. Let's make the Hell in a Cell red. That's some good shit. Yeah, I mean, like, come on, man. Like, whatever. All right, guys. Well, we're almost done for the day, but I do want to say this. This is not wrestling related. I'm just asking for some of my friends and fans out there, family members of the IE Sports Radio crew, if you can please go to this website down here. I got 1 day and and a few hours left to get the votes in. You can vote every day for this. It's faceofhorror.org/2024/Martine-Sandoval. I'm trying to win this contest. It's a contest where the winner gets to go on a real life ghost hunt, whether you believe or not, real life ghost hunt with Kane Hodder, the actor who portrayed Jason Voorhees in multiple Friday the 13th films. I get to be a part of a photo shoot with him for this horror magazine called Rue Morgue Magazine. And on top of that, I win a cash prize of $13,000, which would be a tremendous blessing to my family and I. And we're currently, right now, I am in 3rd place. So if you guys can just hit that link. If you have a Facebook account, I think you have to have a Facebook account. If you don't, it's cool. No worries. I don't want you to create one just to vote. But if you already have a Facebook account and you go to this website and hit the link to vote, please. It's free to hit one vote. You don't have to make any donations or anything like that. It just takes a quick second. It would do me a huge favor if you just hit that link and help me out. I'd definitely appreciate it. And guys, it's been fantastic talking to y'all today. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, wrestling fans, for tuning in to the IE Wrestling Show. Please don't forget to follow me on X and TikTok at IE Wrestling Show. That's at IE Wrestling Show. Please follow IE Sports Radio on all of our social media platforms. That's Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok. And do yourself a favor and hit up our official website, iesportsradio.com. That's iesportsradio.com, where you can join for free. And you can see all the catalogs of all of our awesome shows. Thanks again to our official sponsors, Planet Jerky and Seal the Deal Wax Seals. Thank you guys for tuning in to this great time I've had with y'all today. Hopefully you guys had as much fun listening to me as I had doing this show for you. I'll see you guys next week. Same SoCal Saint time, same SoCal Saint channel. Thank you to all the guys in the chat room. I just want to give you all a quick shout out. Danny Mahan, Marcus Losgray, Taryn Rodriguez, T5 the Great. Where y'all at? I'm looking for y'all. Ralph Calise, my boy, host of the Yinzer Report. Master Mike, Massachusetts Mike, one of the hosts of Beantown Blitz. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been awesome. I am the undisputed champion of IE Sports Radio, and I will see you guys next week. Yeet!